Hi all, welcome back. Red Storm, Dark Blue Defection, Scenario 4, Iron Eagle. This will be my part 19. I just came back, I was recording another bit of video footage there, trying to make my mind up on what other game to set up on the other table, so turned into a 30-minute video, which I'll just put out there as some kind of random thing. Still haven't made my mind up though, so... And it wasn't, like I say, meant to be a sort of thing to put out there to find out what people might want to watch. It was just, I just can't make my mind up. But just to show you kind of what games I've got in mind for coming, I'd like to try and do recordings. I'd like to try and have a game of, basically. So anyway, right, so, well, that's not what we're here to talk about. So I was just going to I thought I was just going to dive into the movement phase and go on with it. However, I managed to get part 17 and 18 uploaded. I'd watched them back pretty quickly and they weren't that big, right enough. And John's on the ball as well, because I've got quite a bunch of comments. Not so much from part 17, but it looks like there's a bit from 18. Now, I haven't read these at all yet, so... Okay, well, he's commented at the 14-minute mark, and it looks like he's talking about my 2K22 attack, and I asked this later on, so let me just double check the timestamp. Okay, so he's given me the rule reference here, so let me read this. This is part 17 at the 14-minute mark, and I did realise this after the fact, so I think it was part 18 I started talking about that, so whether he... like I say, we get away with this anyway, but it looks like it should have been... it should have been different. He says, since the 2K22 attack... Now this is the inherent AA fire that was given to Silver Fox that we missed, because we dropped them at low altitude, and we went back to fix it. But while we were doing it did fire a shot off on us. But when we checked the actual damage modifiers, because we had the radar, the defensive jamming strength of the flight had been a 3. We also counted the standoff jamming strength being a 3. Now, I didn't consider this at the time, but I think it was in part 18 I realised that should that have got the full 3 strength, because it was firing in the hex, does that mean the arc comes out towards this? I wasn't sure. I did look at the numbers that were rolled and thought if it was half the strength, if it was to get the strength half, the same result would have happened, so that was a good thing. So yes, he carries on. Since the 2K22 attack is considered to be from the same hex, the 60-degree arc for purposes of determining jamming strength can be pointed away. So standard jamming would be halved. So what he's saying is, because if it happened, just say it happened in the hex it's in just now, just to keep it simple, that because the 2K22 is firing in this hex, it doesn't need to be firing that direction. You could, if you were doing it yourself, you can choose. So imagine if you're playing a 2-player game here, so you've got to do the same for the bot. You've got to select what's better for the bot, and what's better for the bot is saying, right, it's firing in that direction. It's in the same hex, but that's the direction it's firing, so that it doesn't get the full strength from the jamming. So yeah, and he says C 19.31, end of the third paragraph, right above the examples illustration for the rules reference. End of the third paragraph. Right, hang on. Yeah, it says, this is on page 38, so it's from the previous page rule, 19.31, standoff jamming strength. Like he says, the end of this paragraph, it says, however, if the target flight is in the same hex as the EWR radar-equipped AA or SAM unit, the attacking player may orient this arc in any direction. Yeah. So basically that's what I'm saying. So if you've got to assume that for this, because it's a solo bot, we're not going to say it's orientating in that direction, because that would give us a full 3 strength. So you just point it the other way, means that got half strength. So Yeah, I want to say, so obviously half of 3 is 1.5. I think we round up. Yeah, we round up. Because it says nearest whole value, 0.5 results round up. So we would have got 2 strength rather than the 3 that I gave it. It carries on. My good news is that you rolled low enough that it doesn't matter and they would have been no effect. But that's good because I wasn't sure how that worked, and the fact he's pointed me to the rule kind of makes me feel like I should have went and looked there. Sorry, John. Feel like I am sometimes getting lazy with these things because I could have looked there, really. Yeah. Okay, but thanks anyway for keeping me straight. He says there are 8 radar AA fire markers in the counter mix. However, he said they would not be used for inherent SAM AA, but instead are put on mobile AA or fire can counters to indicate that the unit is fired that turn and cannot fire again. Of course, I never considered that because they can only fire once per turn. He says otherwise looking good. Think we'll see some bombing in the next couple of parts. Yeah, well, hopefully. Yeah, so there's 8 of the radar fire. Yeah, he's not specified what colour they. I thought he might have told me what colour they were, and then I might have been able to arm launch markers, but I wasn't using them either, to be honest. I forgot about them. Oh, you know what? It doesn't matter. They're in there somewhere. But I suppose if you're not using it and then there one, got one. They're kind of greeny. In fact, I'll put it down there. There we go. Radar A fired. They're in actual a bit that I wasn't looking at right enough. Yeah, I should have. To be honest, I should have looked at. I printed out John's comment about the guy that had asked about how he organised the counters, and that would have told me what section they were in on my tray. But anyway, okay, so it does make sense just to remind you. But I suppose if you're switched on and you know that they can only fire once per turn because they come off at the end of the turn anyway. Okay, good stuff. Right, thanks for that, John. So let's see, there was quite a bit more for part 18, so let me just bring that up and we'll get through that quickly. Okay, so some comments from part 18 from John Brown at the 8-minute mark. Technically, the north map edge is way at the top of the map, 28 hexes further off the map as you have it folded. So yeah, so it is that is the case. As you say later, the east map edge would have been closer, but I think if you get them off the upper part of the map shown, they can be considered out of play on the Warsaw Pact side of the front and have recovery rolled. So yeah, we'll just stick with that. I don't think it matters because even if they didn't get off the map, I think they're still in the Warsaw Pact side, so I think the same thing happens. He says they can be considered out of play on the Warsaw Pact side of the front and have recovery rolled. Yeah, so we still got to roll for recovery anyway. So I don't think there's a biggie there, but however, at least we now know that even though that raid planning map says that, I think we'll find if I looked for actual the front markers that they actually stretch into hexes going further up the map. So you've got to consider that and it does say it's the east side of the map that is played on, and what that basically means, I think, is from here that way. So you do need to include the northern part of that map as well. It's just all the east side rather than the west side. So, well, I need to watch that in future, and what I should have done there was fly the aircraft to the right, off the right hand side of the map. But yeah, it's not really going to matter, but good to know for the future. Right, let me see this. Right, okay, 12-minute mark, he said correct, and this is me. He says, this is answering your question from a couple of minutes ago about the status of the crew after recovery, especially for VP purposes. So yeah, so what I read there was that if the plane happens to not recover, We don't check for crew bailing out or anything like that. If we're on the correct side of the front, then nothing happens. They're just rescued. If we were on the other side of the front, there is some things to look at, but that's not going to be the case here. So yeah, good stuff. Okay, hang on. Okay, this was at the 23-minute mark, and it's when I was talking about Slam, because he's reached the third waypoint, he can now consider the fourth waypoint as, well, he's not reached it, he's within 2 of it, and that's what the rules say. He can now consider that his next waypoint is waypoint 4. So I was thinking, can we avoid going near this SE13 by just turning and going up this way? And John's basically saying, yeah, that turn and move with Slam up hex column 57XX is legal. So yeah, it felt, yeah, so we can do it. However, I've realised a snag after when I was watching this back regarding talking about that. And this SE13, although I said, well, Howard would have put it in here, but it's still craftily placed because it's within 2 of the airfield. So if I do go in and bomb there, it's going to fire. Now, I need to start looking things up about the fact that can the SAM fire and also the AAA barrage from the airfield fire as well, or do we just pick the strongest one? You know, I need to kind of look into that, or do they both have a fire at it? Not sure. But however, if we are bombing, we do need to actually move into that hex. So if that SA13 is there, then we're susceptible to fire from it there. So, but he does say that that's illegal. That would have been a legal move for me to do that. So there you go. Something to keep in mind as well, that I can maybe have dodged round about things. Yeah, I was thinking back to this SAM here, but I think we can actually avoid, because it's between 4 and 5. I can go out 2 hexes. I could go up this row and be 3 hexes away from that. So I don't actually think I need to, as long as my moves are getting me closer to my next waypoint. And one of the things I considered, but I looked up in the rules, was if I turn Slam right away to start with, that's me spending a movement point, but I've not got closer. But it doesn't say that. It says, which would be silly, I think, anyway. What it says is, whatever hex you move into must be closer to your next waypoint. So, there we go. Okay, so good stuff. Okay, this is a big one. At the 28-minute 15-second mark, let me have a look at this. Okay, so, yeah, this is basically regarding the 2K22 inherent fire again. So at the 28-minute 15-second mark, this is where I asked the question. You know, I knew it was in part 18. I started realising, wait a minute, should we have got half strength from the standoff jamming? And John actually must have missed it the first time round, because he's actually said, actually missed this in my first pass, so glad you brought it up, and I've edited my comment on the previous video. So what I've just read about him telling me about it must have been an edit. So there we go. For purposes of also having the answer with the question, the 60-degree firing arc can be orientated in any direction, since the 2K22 attack is considered to be from the same hex and the attacker chooses. For solo purposes, I always had this to be worse for my flights. Obviously, yeah. I.e., if the arc can be pointed away from a jamming flight, it will. And then his reference rule 19.31 again. So, okay, good stuff. Then 32-minute mark, 10-second. Also missed that the 2K22 should have rolled to... Yeah, that's right, you did. Because I thought that afterwards. I thought, oh, that must have happened in part 16, was it? Maybe? That I'd forgot. I mean, I dare say Cobra was kind of covering it up right enough. But yeah, he says also missed that the 2K22 should have rolled to remove shutdown. Glad you caught this before it matters. So, yeah. So we got that, but yeah, that's going to be a bit of a... I mean, we're going to have to, unless we're lucky with dice rolls and can roll... What, it's got to be under 5. It's got to be 4 or less, isn't it? then that could come into things as well. And we've not got enough missiles left to, well, or do we? We've got 3 OGMs left. How does it? Can we start using? I had a thought in my head there about what is it with the guns and attacking ground targets? Can we attack these things with our guns? Yeah. I don't know. Give me a sec. Yeah, well, I probably need to look into this a little bit more, but we do have a strafe profile, page 32, 17.39. No ordnance required, but the flight must have an undepleted gun weapon, visual bombing attack, IP is 1 hex from the target, attack only allowed at deck altitude and at combat throttle, no bombing permitted during attack, all aircraft with guns may strafe profile C or D targets, aircraft with 27mm or 30mm guns may also strafe profile B targets. Well, I know the SA-13s were Bs, 2K22s, I don't know, I'd need to look that up. And then you've got the AAA. I need to look more into that. And am I allowed to do that if I'm on a bombing task? Where's the tasks again? Here we are. Bombing, air to ground, raid targets. Abort if all air to ground ordnance jettisoned. Yeah, I mean your guns. All the guns. Oh, hang on. Well, Slam and Condor don't have guns, but Silver Fox and Saint do, and well, Cobra does as well. But yeah, I'm not sure. I probably need to look into that a bit more to see if we could consider going in to attack any of these targets with our guns. Because like I said, we've got 3 OGMs left, split between the 2 flights. And we've kind of got 1, 2... Well, I was counting this as a target, but you know what? This 2K22 would be a better option, wouldn't it? So I think that's our 3 targets. And then maybe when we're coming out with our bomb, because I've already said with our bomber, we could probably avoid this SC-13. You know, we can come far enough away. Okay, well, you know what? If we need to use guns, or you know what, John's probably likely to have commented by the time I get to that anyway on this. So maybe we'll find out. Not that I'm trying to be lazy again, John. I will look it up. I get the feeling we maybe are, but you've got to drop to deck as well for it, so there's risk with that. Okay, so yeah, so last comment at the 34-minute mark. Let me just glance at that first. Yeah, this is just a comment about the radar shutdown part at the 34-minute mark. Something that is not directly on the player aids, but probably should be. So there you are, it isn't on the player aids there. Though the sequence of play gives you the rules reference. Does it? Well, it did. Oh God, so it does. I've been looking at the wrong thing. When I was going through this, I was talking about switching radars back on, and I was looking at reference 14.52 and 14.62. And that's why I was challenging the rule. Why is it where it is? It's this that we should be looking at, isn't it? Roll to remove shutdown marker 17.53. I missed that. And we've done this before as well, so my apologies for that. That's me that's got that wrong. And he says it's covered in the section on arms, and specifically 17.53. And it's just the same, like we said, on a 5 or greater, you remove the marker on a 5 or greater. And then he says if the radar shutdown marker is removed, the solo bot will automatically switch the radar back on, just like SAMs. Yeah, and he brought that to my attention back when we were talking about the SAMs. Okay, good stuff. Well, nothing major. We got a couple of things cleared up there though as well, so that's good. Thanks again, John. Again, if I don't get round to reply to your comments, I've replied here, so I will try. I will try. Okay. Right. Let's get back to the action then. Let's get some more stuff for him to make more comments on. Hopefully not. Okay. Right. Give me a sec first. Okay, so we are into the movement phase now, aren't we? That's where we left things. Yeah, so let's roll for initiative. So 1 to 6, it's NATO. Let's roll off camera. We've got a 3. So it is us. Well, actually, that was pretty good, actually. Sorry, I should have rolled that. That was quite an important die roll, I think. I should have rolled that on camera. I'm sure you trust me. Yeah, because, I mean, the two fighters are right in the midst of everything, and... yeah. So... well, our F-15's in a mess now. He's disordered. He's got to get out of there. The important ones, yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward here. It's Silver Fox. I want to try and see if he can get a shot at this SA-13 again. And then saying, well, actually, Grant, you'll need to draw a chart first. So this might all be for nothing, depending on which one I draw. We've got, ooh, it's a 5 on the large side, so that's good. Right, 2. So we're getting 2, which is perfect, because I think, yeah, like I say, I want to have Silver Fox, hopefully have a bash at that SA-13, and with that, he can then turn into a cap mission as well. Yes, he can. And not that he'll be able to do anything in this turn right enough, but he'll be clean. That'll be no air to ground ordnance, etc. And then we want Saint to maybe hopefully have a go at the AA barrage on the actual airfield, and then yeah, I don't think we can launch our bombs this turn, can we? Because we've only got a maximum speed of 3, haven't we? Well, not necessarily true, Grant. You could dash at 4. And I'll tell you something. Remember the modifiers that were kind of negative about speed? Basically, the slower you were, the worse it was. So it does make me think. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. We could reach the hex this turn if we wanted to at dash throttle. You know, there's lots of things that are going to happen though. We need to find out about this first. We need to find out about this. That's important. So I think Silver Fox is going to be our first. Now, John did not comment on the fact to me, if I was to climb to medium altitude with my first movement point there, would I take that attack? I'm convinced that I'm going to take it that way anyway. But I think I decided, well, if I thought I was getting away with that, I would, but I don't think I am, because the movement point is happening at low altitude. So they're going to see me just now at low altitude, starting to climb. They're still within range. They're going to fire. I think so. That's what it feels like to me. So F-16 at low altitude, laden still, yeah, has got a speed of 3 now, so I could dash at 4. Is 3 enough? Where are we? Down there. Maybe not. So if you're staying at low altitude, obviously I'm going to take this AA attempt on me first, and things could throw everything to pot. The good thing about that, I was glancing over things, I realised that if we do get hit, if we do lose a plane or get a plane damaged, then we do roll in the morale, but the morale check is pretty decent. You know, you need to be really terrible with your dice roll. Not that that's impossible. Okay, so can I So EOGM, oh, I've got the page open at that. How about that? So we need to be IP from 3 hexes and attack from 2. Oh yeah, this was the other thing. Me moving into that hex to start with, and I can't turn because I've already turned. Ew, yuck. Well, if my IP's got to be from 3 hexes, and then once I set the IP, I don't think I can turn or anything, can I? Well, that'll tell you about bombing run. Set an initial point, announce the bomber is starting, then move the flight directly towards the hex without turning. So maybe I can't do this. Oh, yuck. Well, you know what? Could Saint achieve? No, he's probably... Oh, he's at high altitude. So has he got better speed, maybe? He's got a speed of 4, could dash at 5. 1, 2, 3, set an IP. 4, well, he only needs 4. And then fire. And then Silver Fox would have a better shot at 1, and then do, right, if I was a speed of 4, oh yeah, maybe this would work. 1, 2, 3. So hang on. Right, and also that would mean I would avoid, yeah, if I do Saint first, and Saint comes for the SE13, and hopefully we get a result, right? We can't guarantee that, but let's just say we get a result. Then Silver Fox moves, and I think he would have to dash at 4 as well. So his first movement point is in there. And bear in mind, once, if we do take care of that, then he's free from that he's free from the... Oh no, he's not free from the inherent fire, is he, Grant? Yeah. Well, he's free from this SE13, because at the moment, if I move into there, he's within 2, and he's going to check for a long range attack. Yeah, I suppose that's the other thing. If I sat in that hex and moved to medium, that would be a movement point 2, wouldn't it? He would try and fire at me, or he would check again for long range. Anyway, if we do it that way, and if I've got movement of 4, 1 into there, and then my second movement point is to do the biggest turn I can make, which would be a 120, I think. So that would be 30, 60, 90, 120, facing up the spine. And then set my IP there. And then my third movement point into there, I'll launch my EOGM. That works, eh? Yeah, that works. Because I don't think we could get Silver Fox to attack that SE13 this turn. I could be wrong, but there's maybe a way to do it, but it just doesn't look really that feasible. Okay, so I've slight change in mind here. Saint is going to move first. Now, he's got a max turn as well. 1. So, hang on, if I leave him at speed 4, I get the 3 turns of... I'm forgetting again, it's been a while. So speed 4 gives me 60 degree turns. If it's 5, it's 30. So 60 and a full 120, right? Okay. Right, let's just, again, I've got the right to change this. Let's just say a set speed of 4. Saint is laden at high altitude. So yeah, 4, I could dash him at 5. Right. He would have to move into there. He can't free turn. He can't turn to start with because he's got a max turn. Just going to leave that there. So that'd be 1. How However, he can do a free 60-degree turn. That's 30, 60. So that's one of his movement points. I'm just going to leave that max turn marker there just now, because now we need to. Well, here's the thing. Well, yeah, I'm only going to drop to medium altitude. Oh, hang on, Grant. 1, 2. Oh no, they only go out 1 hex, don't they? Yeah, that's fine. So I can come down here. So, yeah, I could have dropped to medium there. That's fine. So if I drop to medium, I've got 3 movement points left. 1. 2, then set my IP. I've got 1 movement point left. Now, is he a front arc, or would I needed to turn there before setting the IP? Yeah, it goes out like that and then out like that. So he's in my front, but however, I would then need to move straight ahead like that. I think that's okay though, isn't it? Because he's in. Well, why not just turn, Grant? Because I don't want to risk being in that hex. So that's where I set my IP. That's where I start my bomber run. I think I'm going to move that. I'm going to remove that max turn. I can put it back if I change my mind. So, and that's this bomber run. We're on the SA13. We're then going to move straight ahead, 1 more hex. He's staying at medium. That's his movement point spent. And then he's going to fire 1 EOGM. Or should you? I mean, he's the one that's got 2 grand. Well, we are concerned about this 2K22 in there as well. So I think it was just a terrible die roll the last time. Surely that can't go that way again, can it? You kind of could do with making sure of this, Grant. Oh, let's just go with it. I'm only going to fire 1. So I think he is in my front arc, because I know it goes right through that hex, but we're the attacker, so we can say he's on this side. So I think that's okay. We've only dropped to medium altitude. We've not dropped to low, so we don't need to worry about the inherent AA. Well, that only fires it. Well, we're not adjacent to that anyway. However, we are 2 hexes away from the SA13. Yeah, okay, so we need to check this first. So although we've set our IP and we're about to fire, we need to do the check for the SA13 to see if he's going to fire on us first. Yeah, and then also we're going to have this nasty modifier, aren't we? Right, let me get... So the SA13 is now going to react and check if it's going to fire at long range. Well, we can do that before... Let's put it card 5, isn't it? So it's going to check... roll 1d10 before long range SAM attack. Odd, it'll attack. Even, it'll no attack. So let's have a look at that first. So odd, it's going to attack. Even, it won't attack. Did I get that the right way around? I feel like I've said that wrong now. Odd attack, even no attack. Right, here we go. Let's have an odd again. Right, so, and, well, yeah, we got confirmation that if I was to move again and still be at long range, they would check this again. So no, he's not going to attack. So we're now going to launch. I'm still feeling like I should be launching both my UGMs, but I don't know. I mean, we are going to have this -2 modifier this time. What's more worrying here? Because this 2K22 up here is going to be, and remember, he's going to get the inherent 2K22 anyway, the bomber. So, and hang on, this 2K22, no, hang on. Did they fire out 2 hexes? No. It's just the fire cans that fire 2 hexes out, isn't it? Am I getting muddled up here? I think it's because the SE13's thrown me, because that's got a 2 hex range. The 2K22s only fire in their adjacent hex, in the hex and adjacent. So when I put my bomber in this hex at low altitude to drop his bombs, well, even before he reaches there, that's fine. So the major things we need to deal with are the SA13 and, well, I'm saying the AAA fire there, but, well, yeah, because we'd get fired upon the inherent AAA, and then we'd get fired upon once we went into that hex, wouldn't we? So yeah, we do want to take this out as well. Pretty sure that's how I want it. Okay, let me just check the modifiers again before I finally make my decision. Yeah, so I think it's, EOGM. This is what we're concerned about. So that one doesn't apply. That one's going to apply, the second one, because we are attacking from medium, and that's to avoid dropping to low and avoiding an extra possible attack from the inherent AAA. So it feels like it's worth it. The AA modifiers, that won't apply as well though, Grant. Whereas that did apply the last time, didn't it? So in actual fact, staying at medium avoids that modifier, doesn't it? Which would have been a -1. Sam attack possible hit. Well, we're past that because he's not going to fire at long range. Good contrast. COGM target profile A. No, it's not. So none of the rest modifiers apply. So we're getting a -2, but the last time we were getting a -1 for that anyway, being at low, and we took that extra risk. Actually, that's the bit I missed though, wasn't it? I didn't count all that. So yeah, we went into this roll with no modifiers, and we should have had a -1, I think. So a -2 on the EOGM, and this is where I rolled poorly. I think this is the one I rolled poorly, was it? Or was it the actual damage? So you can see I need a 7 at least for a 1, so if we're taking that -2 in, that's a 9 we need. That's risky, isn't it? I think I should fire both of them, shouldn't I? Because, to be honest, fire both of them here, then have Silver Fox have 1 attempt on the actual AA at the airfield, and then just forget about the 2K22 anyway. Because you're going to, you can't stop the inherent AA anyway. But I mean, my guess would be that if that Sam did fire, I'm thinking the modifiers would be worse. I think it'd be worse for a Sam to be attacking us than what some of the AA would. I've not really studied all the numbers, but here's me about to though. Yeah, to be honest, I think the numbers are quite similar. You know, I mean, look at the SAM attack table there. You can see that greater than or equal to 12 is a possible hit. I mean, the modifiers would come into it, depending on where we were. Yeah, we would possibly be at a long range, and then there's also that chance that he might not attack at long range. Oh, I'm thinking about this too much. I'm going to fire both. I'm going to fire them both. Because plus there's a chance, I mean, I do get some victory points for taking the SAMs out, whereas I don't for the other target, so why not? Then that would make Saint a clean flight and be able to change his task to cap as well. So yeah, let's do this. Let's launch both the EOGMs. So that's Saint now, no air to ground weapons left, so it can switch. But I mean, it's not going to be able to do anything else this turn anyway. It's used up all its movement points. Yeah, okay. So, well, I might as well just sit at this state where we are, eh? So we're firing them both. So we get 2 rolls on this EOGM column. And that's the dice rolls, obviously. And then modifiers, well, I think they're just a -2, aren't they? So -2 for firing at medium. Yeah, we didn't get any grief from the SAM, so there's no AA modifiers. Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking about other things there. Yeah, there's not anything else, and it's a target profile B, so that doesn't apply. Yeah, so -2. So here we go. We're going to get 2 rolls on this, 2 dice with a -2. And the higher the better. 10. Well, it could be worse. I think I wanted a 7, didn't I? So 10 -2 is 8. So that is 7. So that is a 1. I get 2 of these, don't I? Yeah, I definitely fired. Well, I'm firing 2, so I get another 1 of these. So we've got a 1 success. Is that attack number thing, I think so. We'll work that in a minute. Right, so again, another roll with the second one with a -2. 12, a little bit better. -2 is 10. Can we get a 2 out of this? Yeah, I think we can. Yeah. So we got a 12 -2, which is 10 on the EOGM. That's a 2. So, well, there we go. We maybe needed this. I mean, if I just stuck with a 1, we would have had a 1 result. So we'll find out shortly. Right, yeah, I think this is... Was this the table we made a poor roll on, maybe? Oh, God. We still need to roll here, don't we? That's right, we've got a 1 and a 2 success. So did I roll twice here? Did I roll on the 1 and then the 2? Kind of forgetting things here. Give me a sec. Yeah, it's resolving damage. We resolve damage right away because this is a SAM. So yeah, so I should have 2 wee markers. One with a... I'll not go and swing back. One with a 1 and one with a 2. Right? So that's what we've got. It says roll immediately for damage on a mobile AA SAM units. To resolve damage, roll 2 dice for each success marker and cross-reference with the column on the damage table corresponding to attack success value. The results are as follows. So we've got no effect, slight, heavy, and destroyed. Infrared SAMs results on infrared SAMs are... slight results on infrared SAMs are treated as no effect. Oh, I forgot about that as well. So it's even worse. Right, okay. Well, here we go. Maybe we did need both of these. Let's hope that we still get a result with this. Because a slight result is not any good. And we're rolling on this column to start with. So we need... There's no modifiers here. Well, we need an 18 or greater. So I think it's just as well we've got this one, because at least we need a 13 or greater. Right, anyway. So let's roll on the 1. So what did I say? We need an 18? Oh dear. Right, here we go. Oh, that's 8. Well, that's terrible. So that's a whole lot of nothing. So that was a 1 attack. Oh dear, I feel the worst here. These are a bit trickier to do in with, after all. Right, on the 2 success column, so you can see we need a 13 there for an H result. Remember, the S's are no good to us. So we need 13 here. Come on. Oh, no. 12. Oh, you're having a laugh. On the 12, on the 2, it's a slight result. And remember, it's an infrared SAM, it's a no effect. Oh, no, dear. Yeah. Well, yeah, we needed to fire them both really, but well, it didn't really help us any in the end anyway. But the first one was really unlikely of succeeding anyway. Oh dear. Okay. Well, that's that. Yeah, there's nothing more to be said. Saint has moved. We can take that away. Still at medium altitude. That SA-13 is still active and ready to go. So Slam might need to maybe shimmy his way around a little bit, but like I say, when he enters that, well, in fact, even when he enters that hex, he's going to get the check. So I don't know. I'm going to have to think about how I want to do that. I mean, we've also got these fighters round about us as well. This, yeah. Well, I knew it was going to be tricky to finish when I started seeing things going a bit wrong. Okay, so I think that's everything for Saint. So Silver Fox. Well, there's one missile left. I don't know. I keep thinking about, is it really relevant for me to try and take this AAA out? The answer to this could be it's probably more beneficial to try and take the SAM out again. Although I think I've worked out that I don't think I can get round to have a go at it anyway. Because if our bombing flight, even if it comes up here, it's all a bit cluttered in here, which is a bit of a shame. But if I turn into there, well, let's just say that means I don't think we're doing our bombing run this turn. And how do the bombs work? We need to be in the hex. I think we start our bombing our IP just the hex before, isn't it? I think. Bomb runs. John told me where it said that. I think it's on one of the play reads. Okay, so the question I'm asking myself here is, sorry, I know I was talking about the bombing. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I need to be in this hex, adjacent to it. That's where I start my bombing run, and then in the hex, I drop my bombs. So the question I need to ask myself is, if I turn and go up here, then this hex is safe, this hex is safe. I then turn again. So I could be sitting, if I was to dash here, and give myself 4 points, I could turn for 1, into there for 2, into there for 3. Yeah, I can't do the bombing run. Not without I'm saying it'd be better waiting, but what if the fighters come for me? Because I'm going to be pretty close. In fact, I'm going to be the same distance away from that as what that is. So I can't recall how it is they differentiate between us, but Zelenko's the MiG-23 as well, so it's not got any issues. MiG-29's got a manoeuvre marker on it. So maybe I'm better slowing down, even just sticking with 3 movement and going 1, 2. Well, that still ends up in the same hex, Grant. Oh, hang on, can I not move it 2? Yeah, I could. I could move it 2 and just go turn and then end in there, and then that way I'm further away from Zelenko than what the F-16 is. The thing is, I'm talking about this. I'm not going to do this first because I'm going to do Silver Fox. But I suppose I'm wondering what. Yeah, the question I need to ask myself is when I reach this hex here. Let's forget about fighters being in the way and maybe. But when I reach this hex and I'm then wanting to set my IP and then move into this hex to my bombing run, I'm adjacent to the AA in there. I'm also going to have to be at low altitude. So I'm then going to take AA inherent AA fire. So I'm like susceptible to the fire from the inherent AA in this hex, and then the AA barrage from that hex. But I think I can only take one of them. However, I'm also susceptible from the SA-13 at long range, possibly want to attack me. So I've got 3 things there, and I suppose the question I want to ask myself is what happens there? Can you get attacked from multiple of them, or do we just look at the one that's the more chance of hitting us? And this is what I'm trying to ask myself, and work out where to look for it in the rulebook. So let me pause and work this one out. Okay, so one bit I'm reading 14.41 on page 22, resolving flat barrages. If more than one AA concentration projects its barrage into the hex, the owning player chooses one concentration only to make the barrage attack. So let's forget about the SAM for a minute and let's zoom in a little bit and consider what we're all about here. So we're moving into this hex. We've got inherent AA in the hex, and we've got this AA barrage from the airfield that could reach the hex. So that tells me that they would pick one of them. Now the inherent AA is going to be better, isn't it? So we're going to. This is what I'm trying to work out. We're going to ignore that AA fire from that because we're taking it from the AA. The inherent AA anyway. However, once we've resolved that, we can only get that once a turn, but once we've resolved that, then we move in there to do our bomb run, then this hasn't fired yet, and it can fire as well, can't it? Okay. And then that's not me brought in the SAM side of it. So let's see what it says about SAM and AA as well. Then, yeah, I don't think there's anything to stop. It doesn't seem to be. Although it talks about if I move into that hex, I've got 2 AAs that can fire at me, 2 different ones, the inherent one and the one for the airfield. And it says that the player would pick one, right? You know, they'll not both fire. It doesn't say anything about this not firing. So my guess is we would have to resolve an AA barrage and also resolve an SA-13. Well, the long range attempt at first. And then if it wanted to attack, it would attack as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's going to attack in addition. Yeah, there's too many things I need to try and take out here, isn't there? Because this is a concern as well, because like I've said, the inherent AA would fire in there, then this would fire in there. But hold on. When we move in there, it can still be inherent AAA again anyway, Grant. So you're not avoiding that. There's no point taking that out. Right, okay. There's no point in taking that out. Well, the inherent AAA is at low on deck. And what is that? What is the light AAA fire that you get from there? Admittedly, that's light deck and medium. So there is that. But I've got to drop to low enemy to drop my bombs. So that's kind of irrelevant. Although, yeah, when you moved on from there, you might have been able to climb to medium. Yeah. I still think the Sam's more of a threat. Yeah, okay. But we've already said that Silver Fox cannot, I don't think, can make an attack on it this turn anyway. The best it can get at low altitude, if it dashes, is a speed of 4. I can't turn to start with, so I'm having to move straight ahead. 1 into there. I need to reach 3. I need to be 3 hexes away to set my IP. I mean, it does say 3. It doesn't sort of say 3 or less, does it? I lost my bit. Here we are. IP 3 hexes away. Target must be attacked from 1 or 2 hexes away. I can't do that just now. Can I? Well, hang on. Yeah. Sorry, I've been away thinking about how to go about this. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Silver Fox, I don't think can get the SA-13 this turn. I think I'm as well ignoring this, the airfield AAA, because yeah. So I'm gonna see if he can swing around and try and have a go at that SA-13 once more. So I'm gonna set him. Oh, right, I had to work out. I think I need to set him a dash actually. The Silver Fox. To get the extra 1 speed. Right, let me think that that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to set him at dash. So he's getting a speed of 4 at low altitude. Oh, he can't turn. Right, hang on though. I'm pretty sure I can do this. What I want to do is spend 1 movement point to climb him at medium altitude, right? And then with that, when I do that, things are going to happen. Well, basically, that can come off now because I'm also going to make a free. I was thinking 30-degree turn, but why not make it 60 degrees, Grant? I don't think it makes much odds, to be honest. I'm going to end up down in this hex. Am I? 30, 60 degree turn. Right, let's try that. So that's me moved 1 movement point at dash to climb an altitude band. Now, when I've done that, I think it triggers the inherent AA, but it also triggers this SD13 check. And I can only just assume that we've got to do both of them. There's nothing I can find that differentiates between SAMs and AAs, so I kind of thought there might have been something there, but I'm not finding it. So I'm going to go with this for now. I'm probably nearing the end of this video anyway, so again, maybe John can straighten me out if I've got things off here. So Thing is, which one do you do first? Well, the Sam's at long range. It's going to be a long range check again. So, well, let's do that. Yeah, I still don't know if which one I should do first. Am I getting messed up? Am I getting muddled up here? Right, hang on, Grant. Hang on. You've got Sam/White. Barrage, though. That's Barrage. This isn't a Sam attack. Yeah. Alright, sorry, I got a phone call there, so that was quite a while on the phone as well, so I'm not quite sure where I was at. I know we were swirling about how to go about this. Check for the Sam, and then the inherent AA as well. Yeah, I feel I'm a bit worried that things aren't going as they should here. Right, let's do the check for the Sam then. Well, that's just a odd or even roll, isn't it? Because it's at long range. So, let's put in card 5, Grant. Can't remember which one was which. So long range. Odd it'll attack, even it won't attack. So here we go. We've got even this time, so it's going to attack. Yeah, something is bugging me, this. So do I do this inherent AA attack and a Sam attack? Come on, Grant. Okay, I found what I needed to kind of ease my mind here. Page 26, 15.3 Sam attacks, 15.31 Sam fire prerequisites. Sam units may only fire at flights during the movement phase following the target's expenditure of a movement point, which we've done, or immediately after it is scattered or performs Sam avoidance. Then this last sentence here, resolve Sam attacks after all AA attacks have been resolved. Okay, so whether I should have checked if the Sam was going to fire, well, we know it's going to fire, but we are going to have to check the inherent AAA first. So let's get down to that first. Right, so we're in here somewhere. Inherent AAA is a 2K22, so we're on this. Right, okay, yeah. It's still going to trigger because, again, John didn't confirm this for me because my first movement point is climb me to medium altitude, but I think it should trigger as I'm making that movement. So we're checking this at low altitude. So it's a 13 we need. Well, actually, yeah, there's no modifiers to this, is there? This is just a roll, and then we check for damage with modifiers. Okay, so let's roll on this first. So we need a 13 or greater, or they need a 13 or greater. We're hoping for less than that. 16. Okay, still going bad. Right, so that is going to be... They are going to fire. So now we look here, and we've got to look under this one, these modifiers. Okay, yeah, we're getting the strength. We're getting this again. So, oh, don't tell me. Oh no. Have I taken that into account? I don't think I'm getting... Oh, or maybe I am just. Right. Well, we definitely get the target defensive jamming strength for the F-16, which is a 3. Right, I don't have... Of course, I'm using that. We've still got 3 movement points left. Right, I'll use this dice just to track the numbers. Right, so that's a 3. Now, do we get the jamming, standoff jamming in the first place? Let's have a look. Yeah, the reason I asked because the flight moved a little bit. So it's facing... Yeah, it's facing up the spine of that hex. So it comes... At 60 degrees comes that way. So it actually goes right through that flight. So this is where the 2K22 inherent fire is coming from in the hex. So... Well, I want to say that this is our choice, this one. So we say it's in that side, so we get that. So it does cover us for standoff jamming. However, like John's pointed out to us, it's firing in that hex, so we get half the strength. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's less than 16. So we get the full 3 strength from the Raven because it's within 16 hexes. No, we won't get the full strength. We get, it should be 3 for the full strength, but we're only going to get half that. We get 1.5. The halves are rounded up to 2. So we get a 2 for that. So that's us got a 5. So it's a -5. Target on bomb run, recon run is not. Target speed, we dashed at 4. Oh, good. Okay, this is good then. So we're at 4 speed, so we got a -1. So that's -6. This is getting better. Okay. No line of sight to target or at night. No. 2K22. Right. No, they're not a range 1. They're considered at range 0, so we don't get that. Target and chaff corner. Right, we've got a -6 on this. So this is what we're on. Now we're rolling on the mobile column here at the end, which is the worst of the bunch, I think. Okay, so with a -6, let's keep it low. Oh, that's good. 11 -6 is 5. That's going to be no effect again, isn't it? Yes. Okay, so we get away with that again. So we've resolved our AA fire. So now we're looking at the SAM, and maybe this is when I should have rolled to see if the SAM was going to attack at long range. However, it is decided it is attacking at long range, so I want to say it's play raid card 2 I maybe want here for this. Okay, so SAM attack, this is an SA13. Let's put the card at the side there. So I say it's greater than or equal to a 12, which is a base for a possible hit. Now, these 2 modifiers are the ones that are built in. So we are at range 2. So it's range 2. We are at... now here's the thing. To be honest, I think we've got to consider ourselves at low altitude, because although we've spent this movement point to climb to medium, it's the same situation. That's when it's triggering the attack, isn't it? So I think we've got to consider that as a -1 then. So it's a -1, and that's for the altitude modifier and the long range per hex. Sorry for the dogs. Is she going to be quiet? I don't think so. Hang on. Right, sorry. I ended up being on pause there for a little bit. Okay, so try to resolve the SAM attack. Yeah, and we said that these two come into this, and it ends up being a -1. Yeah, I'm always struggling with this a little bit. See, I'm just looking up at the chart, but that's where I shouldn't be looking, I think, because it's got the information on the card. That range 2, long range 2. At low altitude, there'd normally be a 0. Yeah, that's what it is. There's normally be a 0 at that altitude. However, there'd be a -1. See SAM data. Oh, you know what? I think I should avoid looking at all that. John said We don't need to look at these two. We just need to look at low altitude. Low altitude range 2 is a -1. That takes care of the 2. I do find that a little bit confusing, that the way that's being done, but that's maybe just me. It's maybe just a Grant thing. Okay, so, and then we've got -1. I'll use the other dice. And we've got a -1. Well, it's an infrared SAM attack, which it is. So we got another -1 for that. So that's good. Yeah, because we want this to be a low result. Low roll. Salvo fire, no. Infrared SAM attack from forward hemisphere, not applicable at range 0. No, he's firing at our rear hemisphere. Is that our from forward hemisphere? Yeah. Yeah, you can see it's there and it's firing at our rear hemisphere. So if we were facing that, I think we would get this. They would get that extra -1. I think that's what that means. Infrared SAM attack from forward. Yeah, if it would be from our forward hemisphere, I think. Yeah, so I don't think we're getting that. Okay, so sitting at a -2. Right, and then a possible hit is a greater than or equal to 12 result. So, well, I can just I'll put the thing on top of that. So we're rolling with a -2 modifier. Wanting this to be low as well. Oh, 12, but with the -2 takes it to 10. So we're getting away with this again. So 10 is less than or equal to 11. It is a miss, so no effect. So nothing happens there. And again, I think we would only look at morale, yeah, if there had been some damage. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that's the same, but it talks about on the morale table, it is SAM/AA combat. So we're already, yeah, post-combat procedures would require it to have taken a loss or some damage. Yeah, just double checking, and under 13 on page 21, post-combat procedures, it is following any AA or SAM combat that inflicts damage or losses. So, okay, so we've got away with all that. So yeah, you can see the rolls do need to be pretty high to get us, but yeah, it still could have went the other way, couldn't it? So we've still got 3 movement points left. Now we're sitting at medium altitude, so we're safe from inherent. Well, however, they can only do that once per movement phase anyway, so that's fine. The SA-13 has also fired at us, hasn't it? Oh, hang on. If it's fired, does it not get a... Yeah, because it did fire. It fired and missed. So does that not leave a SAM something marker behind? SAM launch marker. Where did I find this? SAM and radars, SAM attacks, prerequisites. Yeah. I never considered the deconfliction. Oh, it doesn't matter for an infrared SAM. There you go. Yeah, that's right. So, miss attack is negated by the flight's defensive tactics. The SAM attack misses. After resolving the attack, mark the SAM unit with a SAM launch marker. The flight may continue movement if it has movement points. Yeah, so we've got a SAM launch marker on that. To be honest, I don't... Well, it means it can't launch again this turn, actually. SAMs may fire no more than once per game turn. Exception, phased array radar SAMs. Well, that's not what they are. Okay, so it can only fire... Yeah, because, yeah, of course this marker's going to stay onto the admin phase. So, yeah, so if we were to bring somebody else in there, that can't launch again. Okay, these are all good to sort of... yeah, hopefully sink in. Right, so we carry on our movement. So what was my plan? Basically, it was just to move, and then I think I was going to just go 1, 2. Oops, careful, Grant. And then we've got one movement point left. We dashed at a move 4, so we've got a free 60-degree turn. No, sorry. I'm going to use my last movement point to turn 120 degrees. So that's going to be 30, 60, 90, 120. Yuck. Is that what I wanted? So my next play here would be, even I've set speed 4 in there for 1, doing a free 60-degree turn, which then faces them up towards the SAM, and then that can be our IP set there, and then yeah, that does work. I think it does. So he actually finishes on a max turn. He's at medium altitude and he dashed. Yeah. Okay. Now, I think we managed to get through that in the end. I was struggling there a little bit, but just that one sentence there. Resolve SAM attacks after all AA attacks have been resolved, and it just cleared it all up for me. Although probably should have been realising that, yeah, AA and SAM can attack together. It's just when you get different AAs, I want to say that the strongest one fires, or it's the player's choice. In fact, yeah, hang on. If we look at player card 5, does that not maybe even... A activation table. Fire an enemy flight in range. That's kind of common sense. If there's two AAs able to fire, only one of them can fire. Well, actually, yeah, AA concentrations. Where did I see that? If more than one AA concentration projects its barrage, the only player chooses one concentration only. But that's AA concentrations. Oh. Does that mean you can get fire from AA concentrations and fire from mobile AAs as well? Have I missed that as well then? You know what, I'm not sure. Because even the inherent AA, it counts as a mobile AA, a 2K22 mobile AA. Right. Well, you know what, I'll maybe leave that for John to pick something out of that if I've missed. Should I... The fact this was an AA concentration... No, not that one, sorry. Or was it that one? No, we moved away. It was the SAM. Oh, no. Yeah, it was this flight. No, it's not. It's what I'm talking about with my bomber flight. When he reaches this hex, I was saying there that he's only going to get attacked by either the AA concentration or the inherent AA in that hex. Well, I think they're two different things. And then he could also get attacked by the SAM. So, if I reach that hex, John, I'm susceptible to the SAM, I understand. And that's going to get looked at last, because the AA gets dealt with first. I'm susceptible to the inherent AA, assuming I'm at low altitude, which is what I'm planning on being. I'm also susceptible from the AA barrage concentration from round the airfield. Does that mean I would take both AA attacks, then a SAM attack? Or does it just one of these AA attacks, then the SAM attack? There you go. I'll leave that one with you. Because we've got to an hour and 20 minutes there, and yeah, I was struggling a bit there. That's been a cube left from a flight, I think, from Saint flight, I think. Right, that's my 2 initiatives used then, so I'm just going to cut things there. I was going to be back to the Warsaw Panics turn. I might need to take a bit of a break here and put this bit together. Yeah, that's something we're going to need to know or make a decision on ourselves come the time, I think. Okay, well, I might get some of that watch back and get it uploaded, maybe. We'll see. Right, I'll be back with the next part. This does look like it's still going to take a bit longer than I thought. And yeah, we're struggling to get things done. Okay, so still hanging in the balance, I think, this scenario. So, which is good. Yeah, it is. I mean, we don't want to walk through these missions, and like Hal had said, he was a bit concerned that I seem to breeze through. Well, certainly scenario 2 and 3, they were quite comfortable, I suppose. And it looked like this one was going the same, but yeah, different story now, maybe. Yeah, okay. Right, I'll be back with the next part sometime soon. Okay, cheers.